Hello everyone and welcome yet again to another cocktail video on the Home Bar Pro. So, going to be talking about another classic today. This is the Manhattan cocktail. So, Manhattan and Martini, very similar stirred style cocktails where you've basically got vermouth and spirit. Martini is dry vermouth and gin or vodka, and a Manhattan is sweet vermouth and rye whiskey or bourbon, typically. So very similar styles. People tend to prefer more sweet vermouth in a Manhattan than dry vermouth in a Martini. So you are going to need a chilled coupe glass for this cocktail. You always want to start with the least expensive ingredient first. And these also typically are the smallest quantity ingredients, so in case you make a mistake, you can toss them out, start over without having thrown away too much precious booze, right? So typically the most expensive component in the drink would be the spirit, right? So in this case, we have 3 ingredients here. We've got the star of the show. This is a Old Forester 100 proof rye whiskey. I always like 100 proof whiskeys for cocktails. I think they really work well and they don't get lost in the other ingredients. Manhattan is like math. A third, well, at least the recipe I like, is a third sweet vermouth. So I'd recommend springing for a very high quality Italian sweet vermouth. I like a full flavored, full bodied, rich sweet vermouth. The top 2 for me are either Carpano Antica, which I'm sure you've seen out there. It's the liter bottle that has the very antique looking label on it. But Koki Vermouth di Torino is another excellent sort of full flavored, robust vermouth. That works for me really well in a rye Manhattan. There are some lighter style vermouths out there. Dolin Rouge comes to mind. That's a French vermouth, but it's very sort of soft and delicate, and I feel like it gets sort of muddied with a full flavored rye whiskey, so I think you need something equally as strong to sort of stand up to it. So that is why I'm going to be using the Koki Vermouth di Torino today. So without further ado, I'm going to measure an ounce of this. So I like a 2-to-1 ratio Manhattan. Some people might like less vermouth, but I think just like in a Martini, vermouth is an important component of this cocktail. That's why when you select a fine one, it really shines through. I'm going to be using Angostura bitters today as well. I prefer less bitters than I would in something like an old fashioned, so I'm going to say 3 to 5 dashes. This is a very full new bottle, so this is probably going to be more like 5. And then last but not least, Old Forester 100 proof. Two ounces of that. And since this is all spirits, it's all clear ingredients, we're going to stir it. We want to keep it looking like a jewel in the glass and maintain utmost control of the dilution, which is why we are stirring rather than shaking. The sort of window of when it becomes perfectly chilled and diluted is larger when you stir compared to shaking. The window passes by quite quickly and you could overshoot it, over-dilute. Although even over-diluting and shaking is quite difficult because once it's chilled to the proper temperature, like, you can't really dilute anymore unless the cocktail warms back up. So you really have to shake for a long time. But shaking will lead to a cloudy appearance, and I think any drink that contains all spirits should be served looking like a jewel in the glass, which is how I like to start. With decent quality, decent size, dense ice that's proper cold, it's going to take about 30 seconds to reach that proper chill and dilution. And because I'm stirring in a metal tin, you get this nice sort of frost on the outside that lets you know. You can also tell by feeling it. So this will just simply get strained into this lovely coupe glass. It's a really nice like mahogany color. Some people might like cherries and such garnishes for Manhattan, but I really like citrus peel, much like I do in Old Fashioned. In fact, I rarely use cherries as a garnish for cocktails. There's a couple that come to mind, but Old Fashions and Manhattans aren't one of them. So I like to use lemon for rye cocktails and orange for bourbon cocktails. I think they play off the sort of sweeter notes of the bourbon with the orange and the spicier notes of the rye with the lemon. So because this is a rye Manhattan, I'm going to use a lemon here. Fun fact, I like using both lemon and orange in an Old Fashioned because I just do. So using this Y peeler here, I'm going to peel from pole to pole of the lemon. The reason why is that gives you the most sort of lemon peel garnishes as possible from a single fruit, and it's plenty to get a nice dose of oils. And with this peeler, I find this easier to use than the traditional like sort of straight potato peeler, where typically you're peeling potatoes. I think this is easier to control. I like to like sort of lock this down in this hand, and then rather than sort of pull it, I've seen a lot of people lose fingertips and knuckles that way. I like to, you know, kind of get it in place, sort of start it so it's starting to peel that that fruit there, and then I'll rotate the fruit. And it's always a nice idea to sort of do this near the glass, because in the right lighting you'll notice that the oils will start shooting out across the glass as you pull through the peel. So it's a really nice addition to the top of the cocktail. And then one last thing, with the peel side facing the drink, you simply pinch. You get a nice spritz of oils across the top. And to get every last drop of oil out of that peel, just give it a nice tight twist, and then you can either sort of put the curl on the glass like that, depending on what you like, or you could even kind of do that sort of thing. It's up to you. I think even just inserting it like that, although doing that will put more oils into the drink and sort of add as you drink, which can sort of add a certain element of bitterness over time, but I think a Manhattan can really stand up to that. So I'm going to take a sip of this. Wow. The vermouth plays a pivotal role in this drink. You almost get this like this chocolate note that does not exist. You know, there's no chocolate in whiskey or vermouth, but like when the rye and the vermouth combined with the bitters and the spices, it's almost like this, yeah, this like rich chocolate coffee in a way, like a French roast coffee lends those sort of toffee notes and dark roasty nutty notes. I get that. In this cocktail. Manhattans are a classic for a reason. So there you have it. Classic Manhattan. Let me know in the comments down below how you like your Manhattans. You have a preferred whiskey? Do you like rye, bourbon, vermouths? Let me know. And don't forget to hit that like button, because it really helps out with the YouTube algorithm in suggesting videos like this to you. And then, of course, if you haven't already, subscribe, because I do post videos like this every single week. Alright, until next time, cheers.